Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Krysan. Today on Sports Shorts, we're going to talk tons of College World Series baseball action, a little Rougarou, and everything else in the world of sports. A little U.S. Open golf for you. TK coming to you from the Court Street Cafe in downtown Port Allen, right across the Mississippi River Bridge from downtown Baton Rouge. It's about a 2-3 minute drive. Also, I'm coming to you from the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame studios, and we're presented by LeBear's Casino, where they are going to have a big crowd at the Barstool Sportsbook today, 6 o'clock for the LSU baseball game. They had a big one on Saturday at 6 when the Tigers took care of business. Paul Skeens was absolutely dominant, did what he'd been doing all season long, picked up strikeout number 200, only the second LSU pitcher to record 200 strikeouts in a season. Will he get another start in Omaha? That is going to be the discussion, and we will find out today because LSU takes on Wake Forest, the number one team in the country, in a rare LSU as an underdog, Tommy. The underdog role for the Tigers. They are plus money on the books, which is crazy. Ty Floyd, 7-0 on the mound, but he's taking on Josh Hartle, who's got 11 wins, the big sophomore lefty, 6'5", 200 pounds, throws the ball 90-plus miles an hour. He is going to be quite the challenge for LSU, as lefties have given LSU trouble all year long, where they're facing a great one, a guy with a 2-something ERA. And so we will talk about that matchup. U.S. Open, nobody won the U.S. Open, held off a bunch of somebodies. Tommy will recap that. And the Baton Rouge Rougarou, first place, 10-6 on the season. The battle for first place tonight. Acadiana Canecutters come in 9-7 on the year. If they win, both teams will be tied. The Canecutters will hold the advantage in the series. So a lot on the line tonight. Pete Goolsbee Field, 7 p.m. Tommy, I want to describe it as an immersive experience. If you come to the game tonight, LSU plays at 6 o'clock. You bring your phone. You watch the game on the phone. But then you're 360 degrees surrounded by baseball at Pete Goolsbee Field. First pitch, 7:05. Sort of an immersive experience. You can watch baseball, listen to baseball, and look at the Tigers on your phone. So why wouldn't you want to be there tonight? Plus, it's $1 hot dog night. You can stuff your face with $1 hot dogs.
That sounds like a good plan. Be out at Pete Goolsbee tonight and follow LSU, whether you do the radio thing or the ESPN Plus app. It'll be there. And they'll play a little bit before the Rougarou get underway. So it's a Monday Night Baseball exclamation point.
All right, TK. So let's talk about LSU on Saturday. I think just about it was about 98% perfect on Saturday. LSU, Joe Bear was a leg away from a pitcher's leg away from a cycle. Dugas, who's been struggling the last month and a half, hits a big homer and gives him confidence, and LSU the lead early on. Skeens was Skeens. He didn't let the big stage rattle him at all. He threw over 100 miles an hour in the 8th inning. And other than the one spinner slider that just kind of was a flat slider in the middle of the plate and it ran out of the ballpark and made it interesting the last 20 minutes of the game, the relief pitcher Guidry came in and hung a slider. Other than that, LSU was outstanding.
No, it was all about Paul Skeens, and he got the support from his teammates. Trey Morgan, a couple RBIs without a hit, one on a ground out, one on a sac fly. And what Joe Bear did was amazing. The hustle into second base, diving into the bag. That's
the
a
Pete Rose
clip.
dive.
That's a highlight clip forever. And Pearson, did his job. Made a heck of a catch in left field, sliding to his right. But it was Paul Skeens. I don't want to take anything away from the rest of the team who did a heck of a job. And Jay Johnson coached his butt off, and Travinsky. He's got to hold the record for balls that hit the glove and don't stay in it. Okay, it's unbelievable. And I don't care if people are on base or not. That ball just hits it. It's like he's got a little.
He's a first baseman, Tommy.
I know. It's unbelievable. But, hey, they got it done against Tennessee, who was playing well, obviously. Went into Hattiesburg and advanced up to Omaha. So it was a big win. Plus the little payback on Tennessee. That's a thing now with LSU and Tennessee in baseball. So it was an outstanding win. Tons of Tiger fans in the house. Lots of purple. Way more purple and gold than orange at the stadium, the Chuck as they call it. So it was big, and the LSU fans, had a great day off yesterday. Some of them still went to the park, watched a couple of games, but now it's all about the matchup everybody's been looking for. Ronnie, the first 12 weeks of the season, LSU was number one. When they fell out of the number one slot, Wake Forest went right into it. You know, you got the whole Tom Walter story, who coached at UNO from 05 to 09 before going to Wake Forest, where he's had a lot of success, but now he's got him ranked number one. He's got him favored against LSU in the Monday night matchup, best Monday night matchup in history of college baseball, because I don't think you've ever had the only two teams to be ranked number one during the season play in Omaha against each other. You know, and then Wake Forest is fighting. In fact, it's been since 1999, when the number one seed won it all in Omaha. So Ty Floyd is expected to be on the mound for LSU. Coach Jay Johnson, as he's done for the last part of the season, not saying anything until about 1 hour away from first pitch. They put the lineup out on Twitter and on Facebook, and then everybody gets to see it. But I think Tommy White let the cat out the bag when he mentioned, he told one of the writers, hey, I think Floyd will be awesome on Monday night. And Ronnie, did you see the clip of Coach Bertman doing the Tommy Tank?
No.
You didn't see that? They honored Coach, and he did the thing, you know, like when they do after they hit the home run. Coach Bertman acting like he's 21 again. He did the Tommy, they call it, the Tommy Tank pose, and that's all over social media. It was great to see Coach. Look,
the thing about Coach Bertman, he's got a great sense of humor. He's always been very self-deprecating. He was a guy that was smart enough to figure out the little buttons to push for motivation. And you know, I remember like one of the more famous stories that's in his book. He talked about in the documentary, the whole Bon Jovi T-shirt story, where when Bon Jovi was the number one band in the world in the late 80s, and they came to concert at the Assembly Center, the PMAC now, you know, he was scheduled to practice initially the night of the show, and, you know, told the guys they couldn't go. And even though they had been asked if they could have off, now he ended up giving them off, but the bottom line was he broke out like a Bon Jovi T-shirt later in the year under his jersey to motivate the team. You know, he always was tapped in on those little things. And of course, even at 85 years old, he still gets it, you know, to make himself relevant with the players. Yeah. That's great.
It's a great video clip. I know you'll search for it at some point today, or if not, I'll show you tonight when we're out at Pete Goolsbee Field. Hey, but you got an elimination game at 1 o'clock today. Stanford and Tennessee will play, and whoever wins that will get the loser of tonight's game. And again, if LSU loses, they play tomorrow night at 6. If they win, they play Wednesday night at 6. So that everybody should know that, but we just want to re-inform people.
All right, Wake Forest. Talking about Tom Walters for a minute. A 14th season at Wake Forest. It's their first time hosting a regional since 2017 was what they accomplished this year. Now, they had a good year last year. They were building toward this season, but it's been a magical season. First time in Omaha, since the 50s or something. You know, they 40 wins last year, made a regional. Rhett Lauder is just a first-round pick type name. Got the long hair. He pitched opening game. But they've got a tremendous starting rotation. And not like LSU, that's a one-trick pony. They have 3 dudes, but particularly Josh Hartle, the big 6'5" lefty that was a giant recruit who's going to be going tonight. Quite the challenge. But here's a couple little nuggets about Josh Hartle. He's got a 280 earned run average. He's a 90-plus mile-an-hour lefty. He's not your typical thumber type lefty that's given LSU troubles. He's a hard thrower. But he does lead the team in home runs allowed. He's given up 11 homers, and opponents are hitting 240 against him. Okay, so how does that compare? Well, you mentioned earlier, and he's made 16 starts. This will be his 17th start. You mentioned earlier Ty Floyd. Ty Floyd, opponents are batting, 217, Tommy? Against Ty Floyd?
217, yeah.
So, I mean, that's very low. And good is considered 250. So anytime you see a guy batting averages against is 250 or less, that's the goal. So 240 is really good. It's good. 217 is really good. So that means Ty Floyd against a harder league. We can all admit the SEC is a tougher league than the ACC. Ty Floyd against a harder league has a 20-plus point batting average advantage over Hartle. So that tells me that Hartle's mortal. Like, he's not Skeens. He's not got a 190 batting average against or something crazy. He's hitting, guys have hit 11 home runs. Guys are hitting 240 against him. So, Yeah. Can he go out there and shove on LSU? Absolutely. He's got the stuff to do so. But it's not like they're facing someone who's completely unhittable. And what I mean by that is expect the score and hopefully the score. I don't think Floyd's going to go out there and throw a shutout. I don't think he's going to go 7 or 8 innings and not give up a run. But can he go 6, Tommy, and give up 2? Give up 2 solo homers and walk 1 and go 6 1/3 and give up 2 runs and have a 4-2 lead or something like that, and then turn it over to the bullpen, which that we can talk about in a minute. But that to me is realistic and what LSU's hoping for today.
Well, you got to go with if Floyd gives up 2, or even if he gives up 3 or 4, you got to have the production against the lefty who LSU hits a lot of home runs. So if they can get some balls, and the ball's been flying in Omaha in this park a little more than it did when the park first opened. So I think there's a couple of combos there. If Floyd could have a night like he had at Ole Miss, but Wake Forest a lot better.
Yeah, I mean,
but if he could come out there and give them 6 or 6+, and they can score runs, I mean, they got a great shot to win, which would have them playing again on Wednesday. You got to have that. I mean, and Wake Forest is the number 1 team in the country for a reason, okay? But I think the matchup kind of favors LSU when you look at the home runs allowed by the big lefty and the batting average against. That's some telling statistics.
So the Tigers, by the way, an underdog with the bookies, which is
at plus $1.41.
I guess that's happened this year.
I don't think it has.
Have they been an underdog on the bookie side for a game this year? I bet you there's been at least one.
I don't think it has. I mean, I think Hunter McCann looked that up. He does Sports Choice Radio. It said that it had not happened, but we could double check that. But they're plus $1.41. Bet a Hyundai, you win 141. Wake Forest on the other side of the coin minus $1.81. That's not a heavy favorite. That's a favorite, but it's not a heavy favorite. Plus 200 and up is a minus 200 and up is a heavy favorite.
I think it's correct for them to be the favorite. They're the number 1 team in the country.
Yes.
They've got an All-American type candidate on the mound. And look, LSU's, team earned run average goes up 4 points when Paul Skeens doesn't pitch. So on paper and every other kind of way, they should be the favorite. They are the favorite. But this is a giant game for the Tigers because I don't see a scenario, Tommy, where they lose this one and end up, playing for a national championship at the end of the week. Because of the way that they handle pitchers these days, you're not going to see Paul Skeens come back, on Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. So, you're going to have to, if you lose today, you got to win Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You got to win 3 games in a row without Paul Skeens. They couldn't beat Lamar 3 games in a row without Paul Skeens. They're not going to beat the College World Series team. So that's everything is about today. And then you get to Wednesday. My guess is if you don't throw Hurd today, or if he doesn't factor in, he can start. If you do factor him in and to win the game, you go Riley Cooper on Wednesday. And then you figure it out. Now, is there a scenario where Paul Skeens in an elimination game on Thursday, which would be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 days rest, would he come back on Thursday at some capacity, 75 pitches, 80 pitches, whatever? If it was not even the old days, if it was the pulmonary days, my guess is it would be yes. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the next time you'll see Paul Skeens will be either in a Major League Baseball uniform or on Saturday in the first game of the championship. I don't think there's a scenario where he's going to throw again to that, as much as it's going to potentially cost LSU a national championship. It's just the day and age where I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, and I would say this. I agree with you 100%, and I'm going to leave a little crack in the door that if they're playing Thursday and you had to get 1 or 2 outs to win the game, that maybe he would do that. But, Ronnie, you made an interesting comment. You said it's all about tonight. Well, you know what? Saturday on the radio, we said it was all about Saturday night. Don't fall into the losers bracket. Well, they got it done. They got the win, 6-3. We know the reasons why they got the win. So it's all about tonight. And, I think I'm going to take the plus $1.41. I think LSU is going to find a way to combo of offense, Ty Floyd stepping it up. I think they're going to get it done tonight.
To me, if Jay Johnson had any thought of pitching Paul Skeens before next Saturday's first game of the championship series, he wouldn't have let him go out there for the 8th inning. He would have taken him out after the 7th when his pitch count was around 110. And that makes it a lot more easy to say, hey, 4 days later, he's going to come back at some capacity if need be on Thursday. The fact that he let him out there run that pitch count up to 123, 4, whatever it ended up being, now he has that, well, he had 220 plus pitch counts back to back. We're going to be ultra conservative. Like, it's the excuse is there. There's no decision to be made. You can err on the side of protecting the investment and the kid and the future. And we want to be the school that protects arms, and we want agents to be happy and all of that. Paul Skeens going to be the first, second pick in the draft. Like it's already there. If you go 110 and you pull him out to the 7th with a 4-run lead and you go Cooper or something for the last 2 innings, you then have a decision to make, because there's a part of people that, that's well, you only 210. You can't go 70 or 80 on Thursday to win it, to put your team in a championship. Like, now we're not gonna risk it. It's too much. And look, that's what we don't know is Paul Skeens or his agent or his family behind the scenes. Did they say before Omaha, hey, we'd like that? We don't know. We don't know but we know that Wes Johnson inherently is going to protect his arms. He's going to protect Skeens. He's going to protect the first, second pick in the draft. That's what he's going to do. That's what the agent wants to do. What we don't know is what Paul Skeens wants to do. And we don't know if we don't know that. We don't know if Paul Skeens goes in there and says, I want the ball.
Yeah, does he go to Jay Johnson, say Thursday morning, and say, hey, let me throw 70 pitches? Or does he go to him in the 7th or 8th inning Thursday night, facing elimination, trying to get to the championship series, and say, Coach, I can get you a couple of outs, okay? We don't know that. We'll have to let it play out. Hey, Michael, I don't think he goes on the mound till Saturday. I don't think he's on the mound in Omaha till Saturday if LSU is playing on Saturday. Michael asks, how many innings does Cooper have? Cooper's got a rubber arm. He can throw a lot. Yeah. And his last 3 or 4 outings have been very, very good. And Jay Johnson relies on it because he's got the experience. He's been there, done that. Jay has confidence when he runs Riley Cooper out there, in spite of the fact that he had some rough outings many weeks ago. So I don't think that's as big an issue. But, again, it's all about tonight's game. You win tonight's game like Florida won their game last night. They don't play the Wednesday. They want to win away from the finals. Florida Gators are. So you got to get yourself in that same path. Do whatever you got to do to win the game tonight. Yeah, I don't care if you got to make 9 pitching changes, pinch hit, pinch run. You got to win the game, and just go out there and play the best baseball you can play, and that's what's going to take. And I think LSU gets the win tonight. I'm gonna take that plus $1.41 and see how it goes.
Oof. Like the Rougarou's chances a little better today. I mean, look, on paper, LSU.
Come on, Ronnie.
At least, and on paper, LSU's supposed to lose this game. They're facing a lefty that's been their kryptonite. They're facing a great lefty. But that's why, hey, let's let this be a 9-8 win for the Tigers. Let this be ugly. Tommy White needs to run a couple out of the park. You know what I mean? Like Dugas and Joe Bear overachieved. They did their part in the first game. All right, Tommy White, now go be the guy. I mean, that's what this is. You got to go outslug the other team. Don't worry about the starting pitching. They give up 4. We got to score 5.
Well, and here's the other thing. LSU will be the visiting team tonight. So, you got to face the bottom of the ninth. So keep that in mind going forward.
By the way, as far as I know, there's a lot of people had some strong opinions on Guidry throwing the one pitch, giving up the homer, and they get pulled right away. I could have gone either way with it. I think I would have been fine with letting him face one more batter because it was, he had a 2-run lead. Maybe he can get you 1 out, get out of that inning. That helps with his confidence because you're going to use him again. But, he's a freshman. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it might have hurt his feelings in that moment, but he'll be fine. He's going to pitch again. He made 1 pitch. He spun a slider in the middle of the zone. No big deal. But I think I probably would have left him in there to face one more guy. In hopes that he could get that guy out and feel a little better about himself, the next time moving forward, or maybe even get the next guy out and go out there in the 9th and finish it. That way you don't have to burn Cooper. But Cooper can come back and throw today if need be. Only threw an inning in the 3rd, and then if he doesn't pitch today and you have to burn hurt or something, you can start him on Sunday, but Wednesday. But today is all in. Do it. If you got to throw Hurd, you got to throw Cooper. You do whatever you got to do to win this game today.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Ryan, before we move on, a Chance made a mention of this. Matt Reiser, who was fired at Southeastern, has become the head coach at Memphis. Here's a couple layers to that. The former head coach at Memphis, Kerrick Jackson, several years ago was the head coach at Southern here in Baton Rouge.
Right.
Left for an MLB job, got to Memphis. Kerrick, who was an assistant at Missouri under Tim Jameson, the former UNO catcher, and there's been another coach at Missouri since, but now Kerrick Jackson is back at Missouri in the SEC. Matt Reiser probably tripled his pay. He got away from the awful athletic director at Southeastern, and he has moved on and landed on his feet. A very good situation for Matt Reiser. I texted him this morning to tell him congratulations, and I'm happy for him and his family.
Well, Kerrick Jackson, by the way, former Southern coach who's now a head coach of Missouri, he was a former assistant at Missouri. So they're very familiar with him. He's familiar with the program, and happy for him. Happy for Reiser. Yeah. I don't know, Tommy. I'm sure we could dig in and find an example. I don't remember a story where a Southland Conference coach was fired and then got a job as a head coach the very next season in a bigger conference. I don't think that's ever happened.
He was fired due to a conflict with the athletic director.
Right.
He wasn't fired because of what he did on the field or what he did recruiting, not graduating kids. I mean, there was a personal conflict with the athletic director who then, in turn, fired Matt Reiser. Matt Reiser used to be an assistant coach under that athletic director at Southeastern for 5 years. So obviously they had a long relationship, and it went south. Separated. So, but you're right. No coach has gotten fired in the Southland and gotten a job in the American Athletic Conference making 3 or 4 times the amount of money.
It just goes to show you, what they really think of him as a coach. And I couldn't agree more. He was a heck of a player at Tulane 20 years ago, and then has done nothing but be a solid assistant and a really good head coach, done a lot of nice things with that Southeastern program. So good for him and his family. He was able to bounce back and get a nice job right there. That's the same conference that Tulane plays in, by the way, his alma mater. All right, we move on. U.S. Open yesterday, TK. I mean, all the big names are on the board. We're going to have a Rory's going to win it. Somebody, all these big names. Who won the U.S. Open?
Ronnie, a guy named Wyndham Clark, who career earnings before yesterday was $2.7 million. Career.
For his career.
And he just had a win a month ago, He, in the last month, counting that win and the U.S. Open money, $6.9 million. So he's made 3 times the amount of money in the last 2 months, give or take a day, than he did in his entire career. He held off a charge by Rory McIlroy, who was coming strong and hasn't won. That's his 33rd major start without a win. A lot of top 5 finishes for McIlroy, but he didn't get it done. One of the leaders going into Sunday, Ricky Fowler, as expected, folded like a lawn chair. He made a comment Saturday night after round 3. He said, "I'm not afraid to fail." Well, that comment went all over the board. Well, guess what? He knew he said, "I'm not afraid." He was laying the groundwork for when he folded like a lawn chair, and he failed and bogeyed 3 holes on the front 9. That was never in the picture. But Wyndham Clark, it's an interesting story, Ronnie. His mother passed away of breast cancer 10 years ago. He dropped out of school at Oklahoma State where he was playing golf and wanted to, become a pro golfer. Her nickname for him was Winner, and he was a winner yesterday. So it's kind of a cool story. But you're right. Not a lot of people knew anything. Even though he won 5 or 6 weeks ago, not a lot of people knew who Wyndham Clark was. Because the majority of golf fans just look at the majors. You maybe look at the Players' Championship, but you're not into the Milwaukee Open and the Des Moines, Iowa Open. I mean, it's a little – I think the majority of fans didn't know who he was, and they did what I did. They Googled him or they went to the PGAtour.com, looked up his bio. So, that's what happened. But you got to tip your hat to him. He's a U.S. Open champion.
Yeah, I mean, he was ranked like 273 a couple of years ago. I mean, it's amazing how far he's come, and it's great. It's like a tin cup story. He actually bogeyed 2 of the last 5 holes and kind of opened the door, gave Rory a chance, and Rory just couldn't take advantage of it. He loses by a stroke, couldn't do better than par in the last 5 or 6 holes, and so Congratulations to him. That's going to be life changing. Won over $3 million yesterday. Just took home a check. Well, by the way, Sam Burns finished 30 something, I believe, 32nd, 33rd. Picked up a check for $109,000. Not bad when you can finish 30th place and win $100,000. But Sam Burns still looking for his first top 10 finish in a major. All right, we move on, TK. We talked some a little Baton Rouge Rougarou for a minute for you. The Baton Rouge Rougarou went on the road Friday and Saturday, won 2 games in Texas, came home last night after they had some bus malfunction issues. They had to spend the night in Seguin Saturday night, didn't get to the ballpark till 4:30, wasn't able to take batting practice. Crazy situation, and so they fell behind early and couldn't come back, but lost last night to the Brazos Valley Bombers. They'll be taking on our rival in the Relief Windows I-10 Basin Battle tonight between the Acadiana King Cutters, the defending champs, and the Baton Rouge Rougarou, 7 o'clock. An immersive baseball experience. Watch the LSU game on your phone. Be surrounded in 360 degrees by baseball. And dollar hot dog nights. We're going to do 2-for-1 beers tonight, so a lot of good stuff going on.
Well, yeah, you need to come on out to the park and do the whole thing. And, the Rougarou are in first place in the first half of the season. Texas Collegiate League has a first half winner, second half winner. By the way, the All-Star game Wednesday, July 5 at Alec Fox Stadium, Skip Berkeley Field. We'll tell you more about that when we get a little closer to Wednesday, July 5. That'll be a heck of an event. But get on out there tonight. Acadiana King Cutters are going to bring some fans. They're going to bring them down the I-10 Basin Battle brought to you by Relief Windows. So it should be an exciting night at the park, and looking forward to the hot dog specials, the beer specials. And look, this Rougarou team is playing some good baseball. They play good defense. They make the routine plays. They make some fancy plays, and didn't get the win last night. Brazos Valley threw a couple of really good pitchers. That guy from Penn, that Rouge guy, his numbers are very impressive. So tonight, Jeff Palermo and I will be on the call, but we want you at Pete Goldsby Field.
All right, for Tommy Chrysan, I'm Ronnie Rance. TK on the way out. Tell us about Court Street Cafe. And don't forget, we'll be back Wednesday to talk a little LSU Baseball College World Series on Sports Shorts Daily.
Connect with Court Street Cafe on Facebook, Instagram. They just posted all the lunch specials for the week, the dinner specials. It's a great way to keep up with Jason and the staff here. 805 Court Street in Port Allen, just a couple of minutes over the Mississippi River Bridge. If you're working downtown Baton Rouge, it's a great place to come get lunch. They got a full-service bar, which you can see right behind me back here. So, Court Street Cafe, Port Allen. Connect on Facebook and Instagram.
All right, folks, best place to watch the elimination game this afternoon at the Barstool Sportsbook at LeBear's. Go check it out. For Tommy, I'm Ronnie. We'll see you on Wednesday, everybody. Have a good one. Please like and share this video.